This is Rosen Institute's Your Law Firm, where Lee Rosen and Ned Days cover management, marketing, finance, and new technologies for building the practice you deserve. Here's Lee Rosen.
It's good to be with you from Chengdu, China, home of the Panda Bear Research Station. We headed over to the panda place early in the morning yesterday to watch the bears wake up and get busy eating. They go hard for about 30 minutes of picking leaves and eating them and then doing a little bit of wandering in their space. And then they lie down, roll over, and they go to sleep. The poor folks who buy the afternoon tickets, they mostly see the panda bear sleeping, which I think has to be at least a little bit disappointing. The bears are big. They're called giant panda bears for a reason, and they lumber around their space, being really sort of irresistibly cute. So for us, it was mission accomplished. Panda bears checked off the list. We can now shift our focus to eating Szechuan food for the rest of our visit.
It's time for your tech tip. I know those words make a lot of people brace themselves for uncomfortable stories about my childhood and recommendations for apps that are probably selling your data to Transnistrian identity thieves on the dark web. But for today, no awkward stories and, well, let's be honest, I'm going to encourage you to sign up for accounts on some sites you've never heard of, but for just a moment, I want you to come with me on a journey to a little place I call the future. I have an assignment for you today. I am going to have you build, or rather, you will have built a tool of your choosing. Some of you are using chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini to help with writing and revising copy. Some are using tools like Spellbook to assist with drafting, and the pros among you may even be using them to generate funny or inappropriate images you share with friends and family. But we are rapidly approaching a day when, with a little bit of back and forth, you can build, revise, and publish custom web applications just by giving a little bit of direction to an AI tool. Right now, these tools are still targeted at developers. They do a lot of the heavy lifting, but they assume that you have some programming know-how. They generate a lot of boilerplate and low-level functionality with a few plain text commands, and then you take it from there. That said, they are user-friendly enough that you can, and I would recommend you should, experiment with them right now. I think you'll be pretty surprised at just how far you can get with a few quick instructions. Two popular options for this kind of AI-assisted development are Bolt.new and Lovable.dev. There are some small differences, but they are both very, very similar. You are greeted with a prompt window like you would see in a standard AI chatbot, and you just tell it what you want it to make. I told Bolt that I wanted a, quote, client intake form for an estate planning legal practice. It went to work, and in about 30 to 45 seconds, I had a basic but shockingly on-target multi-page onboarding form. It even told me what it was doing and adding while it was working. It told me it was creating 3 sections for personal information, family information, and assets. It was setting up a progress indicator, some basic validation for the input fields so that it would make sure things like email addresses and phone numbers actually looked like email addresses and phone numbers before continuing. There's a preview window so you can see what it looks like as you are working with it, and one click to get a URL you can share to the live app on the web. Now, in its first draft, I didn't like that the section for listing property was just a plain old text box, so I told it the simple text area for input in the real estate holdings section is too basic. It should allow the user to click on an icon to add a new property, enter the address and estimated value, then display added properties in a list that can be edited. It went to work, made the changes, and in a few more seconds had an update that was almost exactly what I had asked for. And this isn't just for building forms. You can tell Bolt or Lovable to build all kinds of tools and software for internal or external use. Now, both of these link up with a fairly developer-focused platform called Supabase on the back end that even allows for database storage, authentication, user accounts, payments, and more. You could publish the link to your tool and use it right away. Now, I don't think it's quite ready for that just yet. It's really geared for getting a framework up and running and then sharing the code with a developer as a starting point. But honestly, if you play with it, I think you'll agree it's not that far off. Be aware that they aren't perfect. You will sometimes get errors which you can ask them to fix, and they usually do a decent job. My estate planning intake form kept submitting the form too early on the first draft, and I had to tell it not to submit the form until the entire thing was complete. And of course, you are going to be limited to how many commands you can give on a free account. Paid accounts add the ability to make more revisions and have longer interactions with the chatbot about making changes. And of course, you know that I can't conclude by just sharing the safe options with you. No. I want to be the reason you had to freeze your credit. Trickle.so is another one of these AI app builders. You would be forgiven for thinking it had just redirected you to Bolt because it looks almost identical, except for the fact that they have a nice gallery of apps and tools built by other users to give you some ideas. Now, I'm jokingly being a little hard on Trickle. It's actually been around for several years in a few different incarnations. It was kind of a knowledge-based product at first, then it became a kind of AI-powered screenshot organizer, but recently they have pivoted entirely into an AI app builder. How long they will stay an AI app builder, given their track record, I don't know. But I have to be honest, Trickle actually did a better job at creating my estate planning onboarding form, and it doesn't yet connect with an external service like Supabase, but it does have inputs and submissions saved to an internal database that you can view like a normal spreadsheet, which may be more convenient, at least when you're getting started. It also lets you pick from some predefined theme templates for your tool, and you can provide additional instructions and files like you would with a custom GPT or gem if you've created one of those. So your assignment is to pick one of these three, bolt.new, lovable.dev, or trickle.so, and have it build something for you, the form or tool or app that you know would make a difference in your practice, but you just haven't had the time or the funds or the resources to make happen. Be broad, let the tool fill in the gaps, and then give it instructions to revise and improve what it's built. Publish it to the web, share the link with a coworker or colleague, and see what they think. This isn't going to be a ready-to-use application that you'll be relying on tomorrow, but I think you'll be shocked at how close it is for 15 minutes work and how soon it's a viable way to automate your practice. I'm Ned Days, and that's your tech tip.
And now for your moment of concise advice. One of the biggest challenges for lawyers and anyone in the service business is the issue of trust. Clients hire you because they believe that you're the best person to solve their particular problem. They put their faith in your expertise and your experience and your ability to deliver the results that they need. But as your law firm grows, you quickly realize that you can't do everything yourself. Growth for most of us means bringing in more people, associates and paralegals and staff, and that's where the challenge begins. Lawyers worry that clients will resist the idea of their work being done by someone other than the lawyer who they hired, the lawyer who leads the firm. And in our worries and fears and anxieties, we hear the voices of our clients saying something like, "I don't want anyone else handling my case. I only trust you to get it done right." And this concern, it's really tough for solos who started out doing everything themselves. When you're the only one in the office, you're not just the lawyer, you're the receptionist, the courier, the coffee maker. You're the one who unlocks the door every morning, and every interactions that your clients had, every result you delivered, all of it, it all came directly from you. But here's what's noteworthy about that. Clients didn't care when the coffee duty went to an assistant. They didn't object when someone else started unlocking the door or making the copies. The same will be true of legal research and document drafting and returning calls and meeting with clients and even appearing in court. It's all just a matter of degree. It's tempting to believe that clients will feel disrupted when you take another step back, but that's not how the earlier steps played out, and it's unlikely to be the case. The tricky part of this realization is that sometimes I think we want to be missed. Yes, we want to build a system and grow the business and have more time away, but many of us also enjoy being trusted on the front lines. We're comfortable there. It feels good to be indispensable. Some of us even worry that if we step back and no one misses us, well, does that mean that we don't matter? You know, growth it's about a lot more than systems and processes and people. It's about us. It's about our emotions. And change is hard, especially when it challenges how we see ourselves and the role that we play in our clients' lives. But here's the truth. Trust isn't just about you. It's about the system that you're building. Your clients, they already trust you to manage the parts of the process that they never see. They trust that their documents will be filed on time. They trust that their calls will be answered. They trust that their case is moving forward, even if they don't see every detail of all of those processes. Well, that trust in you, it extends to all of the work that your team does. If you've created a system that delivers consistent, high-quality results, then your clients will trust that system. And so the key here, the key to scaling your law firm or any service business is moving from you doing it all yourself to you building a business that does it all. That all starts with documenting how you do things. It's about documenting the system. For example, what are the best practices for client intake? How do you do that step by step? What steps do you use to ensure that every case moves smoothly through the pipeline from beginning to end? Once you've established these processes, you train your team, whether that's the first hire or part of your growing staff. You train them to follow those systems. And over time, what you'll find is that your clients, they aren't just trusting you, they're trusting your system. They'll see that your team operates with the same level of care and precision that they expected from you. Now, this isn't about removing yourself entirely from the business. No, it's about ensuring that your firm delivers the same quality of service, whether you're personally handling a case or whether you're overseeing the team that handles the case. You know, growth, it isn't just a business decision. No, it's an emotional decision. It's about stepping back and trusting yourself to build something bigger than you. It's about realizing that you do matter, not because you're involved in every little detail, but because you've created something that delivers consistent results, no matter who it is that's doing the work, no matter who it is that's involved. Trust, it isn't just a personal connection. No, it's about consistency and reliability and outcomes. By building a strong system and training your team to follow it, you can grow your practice without sacrificing that trust that made you successful in the first place. That's your moment of concise advice. Wrapping up from Chengdu, thanks for spending a few minutes with me and Ned today. We hope you have a great weekend and an even better week next week. Keep plugging away, moving forward, and getting things done. You're on the right track. You'll get there, I promise. We're all in this together, and together we build better practices through better marketing, better management, and better technology. Until next time, I'm Lee Rosen.
Thanks for listening to Your Law Firm. Subscribe to the Friday File at roseninstitute.com and join thousands of lawyers focused on working on, instead of in their practices. You'll find safe, successful, actionable approaches for transforming your firm. Sign up for free at roseninstitute.com.